Good morning, good morning. Another good morning rant from MrFong. This is your favorite half Chinese. We are in the woods on Rijswijk, I believe, having a stroll. So today we're going to talk about continuously blaming China for the failure of our own countries. The United States especially is always blaming China for whatever is going wrong in the United States, and to an extent in the West, in the rest of the collective West of the European continent, we are also doing that. But the United States is only talking about China almost, and they do not want to acknowledge that their system is just not working. And it shows everywhere, right? You have millions of people on the street. It's not China who created them. You're blaming China for stealing your jobs, but it was not China that went over there and forced your companies to produce stuff in China. They didn't do that. They didn't try anything like that. It's actually what the United States now is trying to do with all these tariffs, right? We're going to raise the tariffs so high that if you want to do business in my country, which is a huge consumer market, then you better off moving over here, right? This is the circumstance that they want to create, right? I deliberately say want because it's never going to happen for many, many reasons. This is actually trying to do exactly that, what you are accusing China of. China never did that. China just built a society with an economic ecosystem which sustains a lot of businesses to come over and to actually make products, ship them back home and make a marvelous profit. That's what China did. They didn't force them. However, your capitalist system is dictating to the capitalists that this is the right thing to do for them. They will go to China. So all you have to do is to think about, okay, what did China do that they could do that? That our businesses, why are our businesses going over there? It's because everything is capital driven, right? There's no protection for the normal people. For first, the normal people in a capitalist society don't matter. They're just like, we are not far off from the serfs from back when it was still feudal, right? So we don't really matter. Let's walk over there. But instead of looking at why businesses are leaving and recognizing that it is actually the capitalist system which is the driving force behind that, nobody can say it's not, because it's all about capital and you go where you can make the most of capital. It is not about human life. It is not about loyalty to your country. A capitalist is never loyal to any country. In fact, it is more likely to become imperialist and move to other nations, especially to exploit. So if you have not a country that has another ecosystem like China has, you can make maybe another one. Don't have to be exactly a copycat of China, but it must be one that is sustainable for businesses, right? If people don't understand why it is bad that capitalism, why it starts like that, it seems always like, oh yeah, it's going to be great and wonderful. But eventually, because everything is about capital, they will raise the prices and keep raising it, and it will start with properties, and the banks will also think, oh, and I will get into shares and everything, right? Because that is where they really, really make a lot of money. Look at the stock market in the United States. What is it, 6 times or 10 times bigger than the entire economy of the United States? That's insane, right? And I mean, bigger than the real economy, right? Where they have trade. That's really insane. So for them, to offshore their products or have the production offshore is much cheaper for them. Therefore, the capitalists can get more money out of their stocks. That's why you have this whole problem. The other problem is, how do they get all that money? Well, that's because they overvalue everything that they have. They buy all these houses, they don't rent it out to you, so you have to live on the street, and they say there's not enough houses. There's enough houses here in the Netherlands. We always blame it on the foreigners or on the refugees that are coming here, but that's just BS. We have offices full that are empty. All over we have entire industry parks which are empty, right? You can just build, renovate them and change them into a place where people can live affordable. But we don't. Because why are those buildings there? They are being managed by these capitalists, and when they need money, they go to the bank. And they will say, look, I have a building over there, I have a building over there. The value of it is like 10 million. I need to have a 10 million loan. I give this, I give this to you as an insurance, right? They take the 10 million, then they start to gamble on the stock market again. And this is how it goes. And often it goes very well because these people are very smart. But sometimes it doesn't go well, and then you get a crisis, right? The bank has to pay, and if the bank cannot pay, then the people are being forced to pay for the banks. You know, it's insane. You have the worker people, as fans would say, the peasants, who now have to pay for the billionaires. The big capitalist billionaires. Isn't that insane? This is a capitalist society. While meanwhile, these same so-called peasants, as fans would say it, probably wouldn't say that about Europeans because we have the right skin tone. Well, I haven't because I'm half. But it's insane to think that our government is forcing us as peasants to pay for capitalist billionaires who were gambling and made the wrong bet on the stock market. Something to think about. This is sheer exploitation. I'm also working on a piece about the pew-pew business in the Netherlands. Because the Dutch people don't even know how much money we are paying to those private companies so they can go all around the world, create wars, so they can sell more pew-pews. It's just insane, it's just insane. But it's time for the people to wake up, and I hope that will happen, and that is why I make all these videos. Oh, look at these beautiful dogs. A whole tribe of them. Sisters, oh, yeah, there she is. All right. Anyway, well, I think you get the point why we are failing. Our system is failing. You cannot blame your failure on another nation. If you blame your failure on another nation, it means that your system isn't the right system, right? It needs to be able to thrive whether or not there's another system in the world. And if it is not possible and your people are not thriving, then your system is failing. It's not another country, it is not China, it has nothing to do with communist or socialist or with the CCP, right? It all has to do with your own predatory system of capitalism. That is, we could even change capitalism with cannibalism because it eats its own. And this is exactly what we are seeing today. It came home to eat us, right? We have extreme high inflation, unheard of. For what? For what? For things that people don't want, like wars, right? The overly vast majority in the world do not want wars, okay? Overly vast majority, even the Americans, are mostly peaceful people, right? Nobody wants to send their kids to a war. But still, we are forced to. We are forced to support it. We are forced to fund it. But when they are looting those nations, none of that money is getting into our pockets. And this has always been the case. Because look at all the colonies that we had, especially in the Netherlands or the UK. The streets should be from gold, right, for the people. But no, they did send our ancestors to war, to be losing their lives or taking the lives of others in order to get their hands on those resources, but those resources were not redistributed to the people, but to a handful of capitalists. Those handful of capitalists still have all the power. Nothing has changed, right? Nothing has changed. And they are so scared of socialism because the socialism actually shows what is really going on. And that is why I highly recommend people to start reading those kind of books like Capital, or if you don't want to have that very, very heavy book, maybe read Imperialism, the Highest State of Capitalism. It's very insightful. In the first, part, you already understand how we are being exploited, why our system is failing, and you start to get your idea. You can form your idea already from that, what we should be doing to avoid that, right? Because look at how we are exploiting the world. Like, we have infinite resources. Our resources are not infinite. So did you ever think that your children will have children, and their children will have children, etc., and one day we have created the circumstances that our children will not have enough clean water, will not have enjoy the benefits of oil, will not be enjoying the benefits of coal or any other resources that we need? Did you ever think of that? Everything is based upon capital, and that is why we have this consumerist mind. This is why all these kids are going broke, and this is why they having a broke mentality and a broke mindset, and they still always will be broke. This is why you have children working in a supermarket right after school, and then when they have their salary, they are wasting it on a Nike of 200-300 euros, which is essentially 1/4, or in some cases even half their wage or their salary, what they're getting. This is why in the United States all these people are living in debt. They have a lot of stuff in their home, but they're living in debt, right? Just one step away from living on the street. That is also the reason why you have so many homeless in the street in a capitalist society. And that is also why you have so many addicts in a capitalist society. Because how are you going to cope with all this? Not everybody can cope with it, and they find ways to cope with it. This is their coping mechanism. I do not agree with it. It's not that good to do, but it's a part. It all comes with it. And also because of capitalism, the mindset of the people will form a mindset that is also only driven by capital. And that is why you see that a lot of people don't mind to commit a crime when it gives the correct probabilities and the correct amount of money, right? It's just like you play poker. You look at the probability that you can bluff somebody and the amount of money that you can win or lose, and you make your estimate whether it is profitable on the long run or not. This is what the people are doing. Because it's all capital driven. They do not think that oh yes, I'm making like a home invasion or whatever, and people are going to feel really, really bad that their entire house is just ransacked and ruined. Maybe they have worked hard for it. Maybe they really saved a lot of money to buy all these things, and now you take it away. There's no such thing. It is all about, I need that money, because why do I need it? I need to buy products. products that are not worth their price. I need to buy a Nike in order to fit into society, to be accepted, to be viewed as somebody, which I'm not. And that is why you see all these ridiculous rappers and all these so-called fake life coaches, etc., showing off their Ferraris and their Lamborghinis and their big golden chains and their Gucci outfits full of the entire brand all over. No real rich person would wear any of that because these kind of things are made for poor people to make them feel rich. But it's all about capitalism, which is the driving force behind consumerism. And the consumerism is actually breaking off our entire society, right? This is why you have this two-letter site where girls are selling a lot of exclusive filmware, right? And it has been so normalized. In my time, that was unheard of when I was young. Now it is so normalized that, you know, the moment that they can illegally allow to, they are starting something like that. And nobody cares as long as it makes you money, right? If you don't make money of it, then all of the people are, you know, acting like it is some sort of sin that you are doing. But when you have a girl making $1 million out of it, then it's all of a sudden it's good, it's great. Oh yes, we all should do that, right? This is everything that we have created. Our society, all the family structure that has been broken up is all because of capital, right? Most of these things, like people are breaking up because the wife is now earning more than a man or whatever, etc. It's always about money, all these kind of things. That's it, right? We need to start to look at ourselves instead of blaming others for what's happening in our own home, right? We need to clean our own home. Nobody else created the circumstances that we could not clean up our home. It is only that we are not cleaning up our home, right? So I think we should start to think about all these kind of things and take things really, really serious, because we are in a rapid decline. And a lot of people are very, very happy in the world. But I don't think it should be something to be happy about. I think we should find a way to change the system, especially the West, change the system into a more friendly and all-inclusive system. Yes, I know it's a weird word nowadays, you cannot say it, but I mean it in another way. I mean all-inclusive with the rest of the world, right? We should not have a system where I can earn money at the cost of somebody else, right? We should not have a system that when I earn money that somebody else needs to suffer. That is something that we should not have anymore, and we should start to think about it. So I hope this will put people on to think about it, and that is actually why I make these kind of videos, to provoke people to start to think again, instead of accepting an idiotic view that capitalism is freedom and this is the only way, and you know, all these weird things. And another thing is what I really want to talk about also, but yeah, I will leave that for another video. This one is already really long. Anyway, let me all know what you all think of this in the comment section, but please keep it respectful. We're not uncivilized capitalists, unlike some others. This was your favorite half Chinese. And as always, have a great day.